From Fitzgerald, number 4, Trinity Jones. From Beach, number 3, Jada Burgess.
Hi, everybody. Welcome as we get set for basketball on a Saturday morning, and it will carry us into a Saturday afternoon. It is the GACA All-Star Basketball Classic. We've got ladies. We've got gentlemen who will take to the hardwood. Hi, everybody. Robert Williamson and Kyle Sandy set to bring you the coverage. Kyle, this is one of those contests where we get to see some of the elite talent in high school basketball right here on one floor.
Yeah, that's very nice. Georgia, obviously, it's a hotbed for next-level talent. And to have all these juniors here, all these seniors here, a lot of great talent on the floor, and you're going to be seeing all these girls and boys playing at the next level. So why not get them all on the court at one time and see how they do? It's going to be a fun day. Thank you, GACA.
And, of course, it's an opportunity for these ladies to display their wares, their abilities on the hardwood. But let's face it, you enjoy the game. You go through the discipline of having to go through practices and a grueling season. But these ladies are here in part because they love the game.
Yeah, that is very true. They love the game. They're very good at the game. If you get elected to play in something like this, it's a must-be here event because this is great competition, and you really get that that acknowledgement of what you did over the past 3-4 months of working hard. We know basketball can be a full-time job, working all around the year, and it really pays off in an event like this, and it's going to be very interesting to see how all these players do. Love seeing competitiveness. Sometimes all-star games can get a little crazy, but I think these girls are really going to bring it today on both ends of the floor.
What about the selection process? How are these particular ladies the ones that wind up on the hardwood here at Brunswick High School in Brunswick, Georgia to play basketball?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I know a lot of coaches nominate some players and go through some media outlets trying to find the best players, the most deserving players from across the state. I know it's a very difficult process, but it looks like we got some of the best here, and it's great to see everybody on one court at one time. But, yes, the process can be difficult, especially when everything happens so quickly. You got to make sure all these girls and boys come at the right time, and we got everyone here today.
Some of the best in the north, some of the best in the south, ready to play basketball. The opening tip coming up.
Frustrated. She's having trouble with her defensive player. Look at this sweet pass behind the back for 2 on the assist.
And that one is hit on a rope to center field. Watch that one. And it is, oh, what a great diving catch by the center field.
And in that game, it was basically a running back by committee. I mean, you had a lot of guys carrying the football. Is that the protocol for the upcoming season for the backfield of Jackson State?
It's a really nice pitch to get the ground ball double play. Second one.
6-5 is your final. East Georgia advances to the championship game.
Just about all white. Jones County diving catch it, shortstop. Gross. Towards the gap. Diving catch in center field by Ben Aklinski. There is a shot towards deep short. Kraft's got it. Long throw over, and he got it. Well, we've got 8 minutes on the clock, ready for the North and the South to battle. You know what I like about this weekend, too, for the athletes is that it's a reward not just from the perspective of being able to step out onto the hardwood on a Saturday and play against some of the best in the state, but they make a weekend of it. Come in on Friday. There's a trip to one of my favorite eateries of all time, the Golden Corral. Oh. And then, of course, you got the trip to the bowling alley as well. So some extra stuff mixed in with the basketball that's played on Saturday.
Yeah, Brunswick's a beautiful area. We got the beach not too far away, but you're right. Got to see everybody bowl last night. Everyone got fed very well at Golden Corral, and Let's see if they are ready to run off all that good food.
Now, did you do any bowling?
No.
Okay.
I left it to the professionals.
All right, I see. Well, did a little adjustment on the clock just prior to the start. We had an 8-minute quarter, and that is the standard length of time for a quarter of basketball. But then they decided to put 20 minutes on the clock, so instead of a 10-minute quarter, it's a 20-minute half. I guess the only difference really is that you don't have that mandatory timeout 10 minutes in for the swap from one quarter to the next.
Looks like that was Zoisha Smith getting out and running from Glen Academy here in the Brunswick area. A very long athlete, got some big-time offers from Georgia and other schools. Really had a nice breakout season for the Red Terrors.
And, of course, you will see the same numbers for some of these ladies. These ladies are wearing the jerseys that they donned during the course of the season. And that's why, obviously, some ladies wear the same numbers of teammates in this particular case, but opposition during other parts of the season.
It was Cristobal Izuma inside. A nice lob pass from Tate Walters. 2 state champions right there from Gwinnett County hooking up.
That South squad, Lacey Robbins, Trinity Jones, Jada Burgess, Janiyah Ellis, Zoisha Smith. You've got Lydia Freeman, Taryn Ward, Alana Rawls, Madison Evans, Coriana Evans, as well as Alice Ann Hudson, Antalasia Baker, and Abby Oates, all part of the South team. I did notice that Kia Daniels, who plays basketball here at Brunswick, originally on the South team, moved over to the North. So I'm assuming that was an adjustment just to kind of balance out the personnel.
Yeah, that can tend to happen. It sometimes can be tough for, especially from the North team, to get some people down here when it's about 5 hours away. But that's a nice job switching teams.
Well, not only a treat, too, for the players, but a treat for the parents to see their youngsters here as it is dumped down low to Freeman. Outside of the arc, the 3, and it's an air ball. What about the aspect, too? Some of these ladies do not play on a floor in which the goal sits out in the middle of the air. There might be a backdrop, a wall, something that kind of creates a comfort level for the shooter. How long does it take for those who don't typically play here to get adjusted?
Yeah, I think good shooters, they can get over that real quickly, whether it be first minute of the game or just in warm-ups. These are some professional players, some professional shooters, and I think they can get custom to what is on this court really quickly, and I think we should see some very good shooting today.
Out of bounds on the opposite side of the floor. It will remain in the hands of South. South decked out in the predominantly light and white colors. In the variety of colors, but dark, it is the North team. And all day long today, throughout the course of every contest, the South will be the home team. That's because we are playing in the South. When it's in the North, the home squad. The steal. And then tipped away and taken right back by Rawls.
Saw that length of Azuma denying that post-entry pass, getting the steal. She was paramount in the victory of upsetting Lovejoy in the Class 6A state championship as Coach Tim Slater looks on. But Cristobal Azuma picking up some big-time interest from ACC schools among many others after a great championship performance.
Well, another thing that I noticed, too, we've got 20 minutes on the clock, but it is the clock that ran nonstop, ran through the what would be timeout on the dead ball.
Yeah, running clock. Make sure everything keeps moving. We don't need these games to linger on for 3 hours or anything like that. I don't think it would happen, but just a nice 20-minute running clock.
So what you're saying is there's not the probability of overtime.
You never know. Last year up in Dalton, we had some very close games that went down to the wire. Don't think we had any overtime games, but, hey, it's 2-2 on the scoreboard. If we keep up at this pace, we're going to have overtime.
Yep, if nobody else gets a bucket, we're going to,
it's going to be a long
That's
day.
right.
I think we have too much talent to not see more points scored.
I think you are right. Put in play by the North. That is Newsom who brings it to her end of the floor. Dumped down into the corner, and a look by Malaya Parks. Well, we went through the roster for South. For the North, A.C. Carter, Cristobal Izuma, Caroline Martin, Lisa Snyder, Asia Enos, Selma Kulo, Savannah Samuel, Malaya Parks, Tate Walters. You got Chandler Davis, Amara Newsom, Jayla Kimbrough, and Kia Daniels all in. Pull-up jumper just a little bit short. And it's Kimbrough with a miss. Well, you know, when you think about bigger events, and for these ladies, it's a big stage for them, an all-star event. And you wonder how long it takes to work the butterflies out. And I'm thinking the butterflies are contributing to the 2-2 game. Yeah, obviously these ladies score and do so with frequency during the course of a regular season. So how long until you kind of got those jitters out of the system?
Yeah, and they only had one practice yesterday, so just trying to get accustomed to playing with these other players, people you might not have ever met before, just trying to know where their sweet spot is, what they like to do on the court. I'm sure they have a couple set plays, but chemistry is a big factor, and once they get more comfortable, a couple minutes in, I think we'll be able to see some more buckets.
Excellent point, too, in that these ladies have played with 4 other individuals during the course of the season, and they know their nuances and their moves and the chemistry, as you mentioned. Here it takes a little while as it is put in play. Off on the 3 for the corner, but the rebound belongs to the South. Drive from just outside the paint, rattled in and out. That is Kulo with the rebound. A little short on the jumper, and we stay knotted up at 2 apiece. A little balancing act on the baseline to keep it in play. Handed back over to Parks, and Parks walked with it.
I'm also interested to see who's going to be that alpha female, who's going to be the aggressor, who's going to not be worried about passing the ball, who's going to take some of those shots and really knock the lid off this basket, who wants to score.
And who's going to get comfortable first and say, okay, it's just the game of basketball. You know, it's what we've done for years.
Exactly. They've done this many times over. I know there's a lot of talent on the floor, and you know, I'm sure there's going to be some good defense played, but these girls know how to fill it up, and I think we see some girls that can score the ball on the floor right here. I think we might see a bucket on this possession.
And we anticipate.
Close.
Yep. Carter with a miss. But we anticipate a lot of coaches being here as well. Some of the junior colleges, the 4-year institutions, with an opportunity to look at talent that they hope to attract their direction. And with these ladies, you would assume in a couple of years, most, if not all, wind up playing some form of collegiate basketball.
Yeah, I see a lot of Division I players out here already, and that's not even counting Division II and junior college level. There's a lot out here.
Drive to the other end of the floor. Nice feed, and there's a bucket.
Looks like that was Ellis from Colquitt County getting on the scoreboard.
Well, now the points beginning to flow as it is laid in by Ward. Into the paint, pull-up jumper. Ward coming down with the rebound. A 6-2 advantage early in this one. Not quite halfway through the first half of play. Yeah, I would say they're getting a little more comfortable now on the floor.
Yeah, there's Ellis, an all-state selection. Very good score, averaged close to 20 points per game this year for the Lady Packers, and she's already up to 4 points now.
Off on the 3. Well, we talked about the players and the honor for them being selected. What about the coaches? Head coach, of course, for the South team out of Washington County, and Lovejoy is putting the coach for the North team here. I would assume it's an honor for them as well.
Yeah, it is a big deal. I know a lot of these coaches, they get to coach a lot of talent. I know Lovejoy is always very loaded throughout the season, but I don't think Coach King has ever had this much talent on a roster at one time, so they're really enjoying it as Coach Tim Slater looks on a state champion in his own right. He was able to shock Lovejoy in the Class 6A title game. But, yes, these coaches have a lot of talent, and they are really enjoying it, I'm sure.
A couple of drop-ins from the stripe makes it an 8-4 contest. I did notice, by the way, the clock did stop on that free throw, so it's maybe the intent is to, per dead ball, to stop the clock. It just didn't happen early. As we get to the halfway mark here in the opening half, swatted away.
Gosh, that's two great players right there. A.C. Carter, a big-time player from Wesleyan, but Zoisha Smith just showing that length, that athleticism, that high major motor right there, defending and swatting it out of bounds.
And by the way, we're not in the senior competition. That comes later, but, well, she's got the size and capabilities of somebody that looks like they are even more experienced than a junior.
Yeah, no doubt. We got some thoroughbreds out here, some big-time players, and they're really showcasing their talent right now.
We're at Brunswick High School, Brunswick, Georgia. A day filled with all-star matchups. Juniors now, senior girls later, and then into the afternoon, the junior guys and the senior gentlemen. Smith missing it from the stripe. Put back is good.
That was Olana Roll. She averaged 26 points per game. Bryan County, they started off the season about 24-0. Ran into a buzzsaw in the state tournament and even the region tournament, but a really good talent right there, can fill it up. I know Kennesaw State has been in to see her. She's got a chance to be very special.
And a foul by Walters. Well, it'll be interesting to see which bonus situation that they are going with here. Since you got a 20-minute clock, you're still going with the 5 fouls to get you to the bonus, or is it 7? Or
yeah, that's interesting. I would assume 7, but anything goes in all-star games.
And again, more of an opportunity to showcase skills. It's really not about the clock and whether it runs or starts. And free throw shooting, it's an opportunity for these ladies matched up against some of the best talent in the state to show what they can do. All right, where is the line drawn, north versus south? Is that somewhere around the Atlanta area and above?
They just do it by region numbers. So we got 8 regions in the state, and we say 1 through 4 is considered south, 5 through 8 is considered north, even though, technically some of these regions, they might not be classified as actual South Georgia, but just based on the region numbers, that's how they break it down.
So you are a wealth of knowledge. I guess we could just call you Mr. Basketball.
Oh,
right?
my. Thank you. I try. I mean, if you just did it geographically, it is split in hairs with, okay, is it south? It gets way too confusing. So just by doing it by the region numbers, that's the easiest way to break it down, north and south.
And all classifications here as well, correct?
Yes. Everyone is represented from Class A Public. I see some ready to play in the next game. 2 Class 7A, our biggest classification. We got talent all across the state of Georgia, north, south, east, west, middle Georgia, and at all levels of classifications.
You got to think with those smaller classifications, too, it's even more of an opportunity for them to say, hey, listen, we can perform against the big ladies in this particular case.
Oh,
and I
yeah.
mean big from the standpoint of bigger classification.
Huge deal. Like Olana Rawls, Class 2A player at Bryan County. This is a big deal for her. She's going up against some great talent, and we already seen her score a couple baskets already.
Got to walk in a 12-6 game. Got 2 for 1 special working. For the North's 1, you get 2 for the South here at the 7:17 mark in half number 1. Good-looking shot there.
It looked like Chandler Davis began her career at Alpharetta before transferring over to St. Francis. A good score.
Got a foul down low. All right. I'm going to press until I find some topic that you're not versed on yet.
Oh,
where
gosh,
this
don't
all-star
make me
event
look
is
bad.
concerned.
Come on, at a late night. Don't make me look bad.
The officials, are they? How are they selected?
That's a heck of a question. You might have stumped me.
Finally.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm assuming. I mean, each officiating association has their own group of referees, and I'm sure these are local guys. I'm sure this is not an all-star crew from Metro Atlanta or the North Georgia Mountains. So I'm assuming these are referees that call games in this area all the time, and they just were able to, suit them up and pick them up for this day.
Well, if you didn't know what you were talking about, it sounded like you knew what you were talking
thank
about.
you.
So, 13-8 contest, got a walk. And it'll be the South in possession. Well, we were knotted up at 2 for a good bit, and then the South began to put points on the board. So any North lead was brief. South with the advantage, and currently that advantage is 5.
Now I'm going to flip the script on you.
No.
Let's see. Would you rather have a low-scoring game like this where everyone's playing hard, or would you rather have a high-scoring game where there's no defense being played?
They say defenses win championships, but I still think everybody likes to see the offensive fireworks.
Right.
So I'm going to go with the offense.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Of course, the coach would probably say, no, I want the defense.
Yeah, if you're like a college coach watching right now, this is much better. You can take away a lot more watching these girls actually competing and playing defense other than just having fast break layup lines. So from a college aspect, I'm sure they're enjoying this.
As a matter of fact, I did a game in junior college on Tuesday night, I believe it was, that set an NJCAA Division II women's basketball record with 200 and I think 21 points scored between the two teams.
Who was this playing? What schools were these? Do you remember?
It was Cape Fear out of North Carolina, and you put me on North Iowa Central. No, North Iowa area. Those were the two teams that were battling there in Arkansas. Got a timeout here. First one of the contest. South calling for the timeout. A 13-9 contest. Well, the thing that we don't see a whole lot of during the course of an all-star game is timeouts, but what's the conversation in these huddles?
Just have fun out there, share the ball, play hard on defense and offense. Just do what you've been doing your entire career. Just go out there. This is a great opportunity to showcase your talent and just play as a team and play hard. And I think that's what the coaches are preaching. I don't think they're going screaming and yelling, do this, do that, pressing them too hard. Have fun, take it seriously, and at the end of the day, we're going to have a good result.
By the way, I think at halftime we'll have Gene Durden with us, and from what I understand, he's won a couple of games as a high school basketball coach.
Oh, hasn't he? Yes, he has. He is a living legend in the state of Georgia, no doubt about that.
Fade away, a miss for Freeman. But South able to get it back.
Yeah, Lydia was named most improved player in Class 7A this year. She really came out of nowhere for this Westlake team to help them repeat as state champions, undefeated. Just so big, 6'4", has a soft touch around the basket. She's really played herself onto the radar of colleges.
Opportunity to make it a one-possession game for the North, but out, and now the officials looking at one another, and they are debating as to who's got it, North or South, and it will be the South squad with possession. 5:31 left to play in a quickly expiring first half of action.
And we were discussing about how the regions are broken down, 5 through 8, 1 through 4. I mean, you're looking at Westlake with Lydia Freeman. That's a Region 2 player. That's South Fulton. And in that same county, you're looking at Asia Ennis, who she just screened. They're in the same county, but they're in the different regions. Asia Ennis over there in Region 7 in Class 6A. So, a Region 7 versus a Region 2, you might be only an hour away, but you're on completely different teams here down in Brunswick.
I guess you got to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah, that's right.
Between North and South. And we're seeing some wholesale substitutions. As a matter of fact, the official had to count and make sure there was 5 on the North squad. and not 6, that certainly would give one team a distinct advantage.
Oh, yes.
5 to play, half number 1. Dumped down to Kulo, and it's a one-possession game.
Nice move. Selma Kulo only been playing basketball since maybe middle school, and she has really been getting better and better and better each and every year. Best shot blocker in the state of Georgia in Class 7A, or at least she was named. A very good talent who is just scratching the surface of how good she can really become.
Got a miss by Smith, but you can just look at Smith and tell she is a player. She's a gamer. I mean, she's got the size, she's got the athletic build, she's got the movement.
Yeah, she passes the eye test for sure, and she dominated this year, just under 20 points and 12 rebounds per game. A first-team All-State selection in Class 6A, a big-time player with another year left.
Do we know who's looking at her or who she's looking at?
Yeah, I know Georgia has offered her. I'm sure a lot of other high major schools, a lot of people are in on her.
Nice move to the hoop by Newsom. Got fouled as well and has an opportunity to give the lead to the north side.
She played a big role in this Harrison team, able to get pretty deep into the Class 6A state playoffs after they graduated a lot, weren't too sure what they'd have back, but Newsom really stepped up this season.
So the North with a lead for the first time in a long time. 4:03 left to play in half number 1. Handoff given to Ellis, and then you get an official's whistle. Ellis to bring it in from the near sidelines. There's Alana Rawls, who is now in. Handoff to Ellis, brings it to the top of the key. Smith outside of the arc. There's some nice defense there by Kulo.
Yeah, it was a strong move from Zoisha. Didn't get the basket, but you see her getting the job done on the defensive end right there, not giving up on that play to knock it out of bounds. But, yeah, that's a great matchup. Kulo about 6'4" inside, and then Zoisha probably about 6'1", 6'2". Kulo just showing how good of a shot blocker she is, going straight up and deflecting it out of bounds.
And, the athlete is just getting bigger and better.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember not that long ago, it seems like 10 or 15 years ago, where if you had a lady of 6'3", 6'4", she might have had the height but did not have the athletic ability.
Mm-hmm.
Now, man, you've got 6'4", 6'5s with great skills.
Yeah, very true. And you see Lacey Robbins knocking down a three. Talk about a 6'1" guard that can shoot the ball. She is a big-time player down in Statesboro, and I know some Division I schools are looking at her, and this is my first time getting to see her. Very interested to see how she plays the rest of the day.
From the top of the key, that is Martin, or is it Samuel?
That was Samuel. That was Samuel. Savannah Samuel transferred over from River Ridge this year. Only played about 6 games at St. Francis. She was ineligible for pretty much the entire season, but she's got Georgia and other high major schools on her. She's a big-time player. Right on cue.
And definitely these ladies feeling more comfortable on the hardwood. Shot up, no good. Follow-up is no good either, but foul and going to the stripe is Parks.
Yeah, Parks helped lead Sonoraville to the Final Four in Class 3A, a team that I had tabbed as a top 10 preseason team, and they were over there in that region with like Ringgold, I believe, and North Murray, and teams like that all kept beating each other. But at the end of the day, they were really able to play their best basketball in the region tournament, win that region, I think, and they were able to go very far, very deep, and sneaking into the Final Four. She was a big part of that.
One more for Parks. 1 of 2, 4-point lead. Lead has changed hands. Wasn't that long ago that it was a lead of some substance for the South. North, though, with the advantage, but it's not nearly as big now.
I think that was, looked like Ward on the bucket right there.
From outside of the arc, loose ball rolls over towards the sidelines. Retrieved by the South. Inside a couple of minutes to play in half number 1. So it will be brought in from the far sidelines right in front of the trophy table. Trophies handed out after each and every game. There'll be an MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that obviously a big honor, not only to get here, but if you could come away with the best of those that play here.
Oh, yeah. That's something to put on your resume. I don't know if these girls have resumes just yet. I don't know if they're in the workforce, but that is something nice to put on the ledger.
2-point contest. Chandler Davis at the stripe shooting after the foul by the South. Three-point advantage. Well, we were tied at 2 for quite a while, but points have begun to drop in. 21-18 contest. 1 of 2 from the stripe goes Davis. Swatted out of bounds. Over into the corner it goes. 1 minute 23 left in a 3-point contest. Davis launching the 3, just a little bit short. Went over the backside of the backboard, and South's got it. Well, it certainly looked like it was on the right path for Hudson, but just a little bit short.
Yeah, she had a very, very good season at Stars Mill. Going to have a big senior season coming back to lead the Lady Panthers over there.
How much additional pressure for these ladies, though? They performed obviously extremely well as juniors. You come back to the hardwood as a senior, you've got a little additional pressure to perform at a specific level.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a target on your back. Everyone knows what to expect from you, and I think a lot of these girls are fine with it. They're top-notch, top-level talent. They know that their respective schools, rely on them to score the ball, rebound the ball, and they play year-round. They see great competition, so I don't really think it affects them too much heading into their senior season.
High off the glass with a miss, rebounded by the North squad. Cut to the hoop in traffic. Tipped and then stolen away. 22 ticks left on the first half clock. Kyle Sandy and Jean Durden with a conversation at halftime. By the way, you can check out Sandy on Sandy's Spiel.
Yes, that's it. It's a mouthful, I know, but sandyspiel.com, do the all-state teams, do the official state rankings throughout the season, try to keep it going even in the off-season, tracking transfers and coaching changes and all that. And you can find all that on Twitter, Sandy Spiel, or at KyleSandy355.
Is there really an off-season anymore? Rolled around the cylinder and dropped in. And as the buzzer sounds to end the half, well, lo and behold, we're knotted up at 21.
Overtime's coming. I'm telling you, we're right at that pace. It was 2-2 for the longest time. Now 21-21. I don't know.
We want to say a big thank you to all the folks who are making coverage possible today. And there you see some of the sponsors who provide the funding to be able not only to bring you coverage, but also to bring you GACA basketball. And also, couldn't do it without these folks, the Georgia Army National Guard. They are a big contributor to this coverage. The North-South All-Star Basketball Showcase. Brunswick High School in the Brunswick Gymnasium. Well, they have not sent the ladies to the locker room. They are just in the process of a conversation from the sidelines. So when we come back, Kyle talks to Gene. Here with our coverage of GACA basketball.
Frustrated. She's having trouble with her defensive player. Look at this sweet pass behind the back for 2 on the assist.
And And that one is hit on a rope to center field. Watch that one. And it is, oh, what a great diving catch by the center field.
And in that game, it was basically a running back by committee. I mean, you had a lot of guys carrying the football. Is that the protocol for the upcoming season for the backfield of Jackson State?
It's a really nice pitch to get the ground ball double play. Second one.
6-5 is your final. East Georgia advances to the championship game.
And we are here, halftime, 21-21 of the GACA Junior All-Star Game, North versus South. We have a special guest, the legend himself, staring me down. I am in the presence of greatness. This is Kyle Saney, but we are here with Coach Gene Durden of the Buford Lady Wolves. Coach, how are you doing, sir?
Doing well. Just enjoying watching a little basketball. I'm glad I'm not on the sidelines having to scream and shout.
Yeah, and you're on the sidelines a lot because your season seems like it's the first to tip off and the last to finish, the last buzzer. You just won another state championship at Buford. Graduated a lot of great girls from that 2018 class, a lot of youth on this year's team, but somehow you found a way. And the big question that everybody wants to know, how do you win so many games? What is the secret sauce? I know you're not going to give it to us, everything, but how do you win so many games with all these different girls?
Listen, I'm just very, very grateful that we have kids that believe in our system and believe in our process, and all the credit goes to them as far as them trusting what we do. And I'm just very thankful that we have a culture that promotes that and the kids believe in that.
And, how long have you been at Buford for now?
14 years.
14 years. And where did you coach at before then?
I was at Dade County for 14 years, so I hadn't moved around very much. So I've been basically at 3 places and had a great program at Dade County. Loved those years. Really, really helped me in my coaching career, and was lucky enough that ended up at Buford, and it's been a great situation for me.
And talk about the community of Buford. That is one of the predominant areas when you're talking about high school athletics. Whatever sport it is, they always put out a great product. Well, what is so special about Buford?
I think what you mentioned, it has a great community feel. Like I said, the people really back their sports, and we have a great administration that supports us and knows how important that our athletic program is, and so it's a lot of ingredients that make it a really special place.
And we just won, what, is it our 3rd straight state championship?
3rd straight.
I want to go back a little bit to the state championship game against Villarica, who was undefeated. They did have a great player in Deasia Mara, who's going to Kentucky. I just want to touch on it quickly. What was the game plan going into that game? From what I saw, they were beating you down the floor in the first half with those outlet passes, had 8 fast break points. In the second half, they only had 2. You really kept Deasia Merrill away from the basket. But from a coach's mindset, do you think you executed exactly what you wanted?
Well, our system and what we do is not hard because we just we use 10 people and we wear you down. Right. And we either wear you down mentally or we wear you down physically. And we continued to, early on, she was very, very strong. We knew that she could do something that a lot of girls couldn't do. She could grab it off the board and just chunk it long. And so we didn't do a good job at first of getting back and protecting the basket like we need to out of our pressing system. And so we tried to make that change. And eventually, I think we kind of worn them down because we was playing 10 against their 6. And I tell you, we were just very happy that the game went our way.
It wasn't a huge senior class, but could you just talk about those girls and how important they were to the culture and just that, just being leaders on your team?
It was a very special team, but a very special class of seniors because each one of them kind of had their own story and everything else, but they really, really did a great job of leading, a great job of helping our younger players because we had a lot of younger players that had to play for us and go through that transition. You need great leadership, and they did a super job of that. They really modeled after the year before when we had 10 seniors on our team, so they continued that tradition of really leading our program. And like I said, we played 2 years with a 5'7" post player winning the state championship, and that's a special kid when you get in there. And And one thing that our kids do a really good job of is they buy into the role they have to play for us to be successful as a team. So, I give them a lot of credit with that.
And can you talk about your relationship with the GACA, your partnership with them? I know you're here every single year helping Craig Davis and the crew put on a great event. How special has this partnership and relationship been with these great guys?
I've been involved with the GACA for a long time, and ended up probably 6 years ago they wanted me to be the chairperson for the girls' side of the basketball. And if I'm going to try to do something, I'm going to try to do everything I can to make sure that it's done the right way. And it's been a blessing to work with that organization and try to get out and recognize kids. And also, the thing about it is this, too, we're recognizing a lot of kids here, but able to recognize the coaches that have done a lot of things for the state of Georgia. You got 4 girls coaches here that a lot of them have put in a lot of time and hours and just great people. And so it's a great organization to try to represent and honor people that need to be honored in our state.
And if anyone wants to join the GACA or help you guys out, what would be the best way for coaches across the state to really get involved?
I think go to our website. We have a lot of information there. And I tell you what, one thing that they really need to think about is with the GACA membership, they get $2 million insurance policy, which nowadays is so important. And so there's a lot of benefits to being a part of the GACA. But like I said, it's definitely something that coaches and definitely assistant coaches need to look into.
Coach, I want to thank you for coming and speaking with us today. A lot of great stuff going on at Buford. We're down here in Brunswick. It's always good to see you with that aura of winning and just greatness, and everyone speaks so highly of you. And, I'm just hoping it rubs off on me one day.
Hey, listen, that just means everybody starts talking that, I say, that just means I'm old. So I really appreciate the opportunity to speak. Thank you so much for everything you do for Georgia basketball. Really appreciate somebody that's invested so much in our younger people and our players, and we appreciate, like I said, everything that you do, Kyle.
Sir,
thank you.
Thank you. And we have 2 minutes to go before the start of the second half. 21-21 North versus South. It's been a great competitive game. Just looking down the leading scorers real quick on the North team. Amara Newsom got hot there at the end of the first half. She has 5 points and 4 rebounds. Savannah Samuel got going. She's got 5 points. Chandler Davis, 3 free throws to her credit. A.C. Carter with 3 points. And then looking on the south side, Janiah Ellis coming from Colquitt County. She's up to 7 points to lead all scorers. And other than that, we got a balanced attack. Alana Rawls, 2 points. Zoisha Smith, 2 points. A nice highlight block, 4 rebounds. So it's been very balanced on the south side. And I'm eager to see who will step up in this second half and propel their team to victory.
We are just about a minute away from second half action. Back after this. Just about all White Jones County. Diving catch it, shortstop. Gross. Towards the gap. Diving catch in center field by Ben Aklinski. There is a shot towards deep short. Crafts got it. Long throw over, and he got it. The 2019 GACA All-Star Basketball Classic, North versus South Junior Girls. And it's all made possible through the support of Georgia Army National Guard. And then a host of contributors. Sports Turf, the Atlanta Falcons making this coverage possible. And then you see National Preps, John Deere, the Greenville Turf and Tractor, Wilson. Charleston's Athletic Field Supply, Coke, Crossover, and, of course, the Georgia Athletic Coaches Association. You'll want to go to gacacoaches.com to get versed on all they do. And it's not just basketball, a lot of stuff going on with the GACA. Well, we've got half number 2 up, 20 points. I make that 20 minutes on the board and 21 points each. And here we go with half number 2. Are you a little surprised that it's been more of a low-scoring versus a high-scoring game?
I think so, a little bit. And you touched on it earlier. There can be some jitters, especially with not knowing each other. I expect to see some more fluid play. As the first half winded down, we saw a lot more scoring go on, and I think we're going to see some more to start off this second period.
Now, it's my task to throw you or to create a stumbling block along the way. MVP at the end of the game, who are the front runners?
Ooh, I mean, that's going to decide upon who wins. I think we usually are always going to give it to the team that wins. And, I mean, Janiah Ellis off to a really good start with those 7 points to lead the way. Zoesha Smith has had some bright spots, not scoring the ball as much, but defensively she's made some plays. And Amara Newsom, she's been very aggressive for this north side. So I think those are some of the players to keep an eye on. But it looks like Alana Rawls averaging 26 points per game. She gets on the board again right here. She might be heating up, so she's a player to keep an eye on.
And, of course, too, where these all-star events are concerned, you may play little or nothing in the first half, come back in the second half and just explode and grab the attention of those who hand out the hardware.
Yeah, that's very true. It's always a tough selection, a very tough process, but the best we can do is just let it all play out on the court and let the numbers speak for themselves.
Drive to the hoop. The miss. And the ball in the hands of the South. Fed underneath. Well, we've got some early misses in half number 2 as well. 25-21 score. South jumping out to the 4-point advantage. And really reminiscent of the first half, because when the scoring got started, it was the South that did it first, but then the North came back, tied it up, and eventually took the lead into the locker room at halftime. Well, no, tied the half. So they took the lead just prior to the end of the first half, and then the South comes back and knots it up at 21. And two, when you got so much offensive firepower, there probably is not a lead that is insurmountable.
Right. All these girls on the floor can definitely score the ball. Just finding their shots, finding their groove. They can get hot very quickly. And Alana Rawls, she's in attack mode right now from Pembroke, Georgia. She is in attack mode, and she's back at the foul line again. And she's starting to heat up. She's up to 2, 4, 6, 7 points. A ways away from her 26-point-per-game average, but she's an all-state performer, and she's got a great future ahead. Really put Bryan County on the map.
First of 4 all-star games today. It's the ladies playing now, the junior ladies. Senior ladies to follow, then the junior and senior men. There's a big three-pointer.
Caroline Martin getting on the scoreboard. A hot prospect at the D2 level, a lot of Peach Belt schools. Really looking at her. She can really help a program. Very heady, smart player that can shoot the ball and get to the rim.
Missing on the 3, but the rebound belongs to the North. It is Walters with it. Turns around. Misfires. Smith going the other way.
And that's a tough basket right there, I know. Boy, she passes the eye test, and right there just showing that she can get the rebound, go coast to coast, and hit a tough basket. That's why she is a big-time recruit.
Fight for the loose ball. It belongs to the North. Kicked out front. Drive into the paint. There is a reach in by Freeman. Freeman's going to draw some attention, too, I would think, from college coaches.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what level she will play at. Just had a great breakout season, knows how to defend around the rim, got that great size advantage, can block shots, rebounds well, nice touch around the basket, really helped elevate this Westlake team and put them over the top to go undefeated and win another state championship. She is definitely playing with some great players, but yes, it'll be interesting to see how her game translates to the next level. Will she be able to play in a high-pace, fast up-and-down environment, or is she going to have to go to the right fit where it's more of a half-court game where they dump it inside and let her go to work on the low block?
Is she a potential? Smith hits it, gets hit, and goes to the line for an and one. But is she a potential customer for the junior college? Another 2 years to be able to mold and shape your game?
Yeah, it's very possible. I don't really know what her recruitment is like, but whoever gets her is going to get a player that is willing to work, willing to improve, willing to do whatever is asked of her, and I think she has a high ceiling. Just with that size and that soft touch, she can really play, and she's going to be a great addition to whatever program she lands at.
Smith making it a 32-25 game, matching the largest lead of the contest for South. Well, too, you mentioned that this year being the breakout year for Freeman. I would assume that if in the next 12 months you improve like the last 12, you're a totally different player come the end of your senior year.
Right. She's got a lot of good basketball ahead of her, and going from pretty much essentially a bench warmer that didn't play huge minutes. She saw some minutes here and there as a sophomore into a key cogs just junior season. Really just everything running around her inside for post touches. She had a great junior season, and again, if she improves her senior season, there's always going to be schools looking for 6'4" power players inside, and she can definitely deliver that.
And two, that wide body makes her such a presence down low.
Oh, yeah, and whether, she's going to be able to block a lot of shots just going straight up. She's not going to be, pinning much on the backboard, but just knowing how to use her body, being a stationary defender, very difficult to move, and she can take up some space offensively and defensively, and in the right system, she can really flourish.
And I recently did some work with Van Pettaway, who was the longtime coach at Alabama A&M, and I asked him, would he rather have size or athletic ability? He said he'd just about rather have size. He could teach the athletic aspects, the basketball moves in the game. So that just being 6'4" is such a plus for Freeman, but obviously there's more to her than just 6'4".
Yeah, you can't teach height, but just how the game has been played over the past couple of years, you see, especially on the boys' side, they just want athletic shot blockers and people that can run the floor well and, just be a great athlete. But on the girls' side, you can still have a block-to-block presence that can score with their back to the basket. That's still very, very valuable.
32-27 contest. This one far from over with 16:27 left to play. The three is a make. Looked like it would be a miss to begin with, but then got the right bounce.
Jada Burgess living right here near her hometown of Savannah. Nice three ball.
Inside it goes to Kulo. Kulo with a miss on the bunny. Rebounded by the South. Over into the corner, already 1-3 for 3. That a missed jump ball called, and the possession arrow will take us to the other end of the floor.
Yeah, we've got an 8-point lead, starting to stretch it out a little bit. This South squad, be interesting to see how does the North respond. Don't want to let this game slip away. I think they have way too much firepower to let that happen, but got to focus in, got to get a good possession here.
Trying to get it down to Kulo, instead outside of the arc. Enos with a miss, rolls out of bounds.
The outside shot has been a work in progress since she first stepped foot on campus at Northview. Asia Ennis, a very quick, athletic guard, really keys everything Northview does up top, defensively and offensively, being able to get into the paint and create. But that outside shot, she shows flashes of being able to knock it down, but she really has to develop that, make it consistent. But some big-time schools across the nation, Division I, still really like her a lot and are willing to take a chance on her and try and develop that at the next level.
Give me the size on Kulo. How tall is she?
She's about 6'4". She's about 6'3", 6'4", and she does a great job of taking up space.
She's another one of those that has that athletic build. As you said, passes the eye test.
And she's just been getting better every single year. Be interesting to see to track her development. Brookwood going to have a new head coach this upcoming season. Wonder who is going to fill in and see if they can continue to get her better and better offensively. Already very solid defensively, but again, she's got great basketball ahead of her. She's far from a finished product. There's a lot of low major and mid major schools that have already popped on her, and I think some high majors will get involved soon.
For high school coaches, do they adapt to their talent? Does the talent adapt to them, or is it kind of a combo package?
I think it's a combo, and it just depends whether you have a coach that's really set in their way, might want to run the same offense or same defense. But I think good coaches are able to adapt with what they have and, put their players in the best position possible to succeed. I think that's what all great coaches do.
We were talking about jitters, as this one is almost taken away, then the jump ball will put it on this end of the floor. when we were talking about the jitters, I would assume that as a junior, you're maybe a little more jittery than a senior here. Senior, maybe they've been here before, kind of a been here, done that type scenario. But I think at this point of the game, with 14:34 to go, everybody's got the jitters out. They're playing basketball.
Yeah, that's for sure. And we're seeing shots flying, a lot more dropping than in the first half. But, yeah, they got their groove now. They know what's going on.
How difficult for these ladies to get out of the mode of doing exactly what Coach has said from the standpoint of setting up a play versus, hey, let's just go down and show what you can do individually. I mean, because it is a team sport until you get here, really. Right. And here it's you're shining individually.
Yeah, got to try to know what your teammates are best at, freestyle, know your personnel as far as, okay, this girl's probably going to go down to the block and post up a lot, or this girl's going to like to flare out to the corners. Once they get comfortable, I think that's why we've seen some more points being scored in the second half.
Also, I have noticed that the officials aren't calling it nearly as close as you might during the course of a typical high school game.
Yeah, letting the girls play, I think that's always a pretty good thing, as long as it doesn't get too rough or too physical. Let the girls try to showcase their talent on a big stage.
Down to Daniels. Daniels with a miss. Trying to squeeze it over to the intended target and tipped out of bounds.
So there's a bit of a run here, big run. It was 21-21. Now you're looking at, 18-7 run to open up. This North team is they're in trouble right now. South has really found their flow, and they're really sharing the ball well.
Into the paint. Got a partial block. In selecting the All-Star team, is there an allotment of this many guards, this many forwards, or could you just be heavy with one or the other?
Yeah, I'm sure they want to space it out evenly and have some balance out there, but it usually all plays itself out. You're always going to have some good post players from North Georgia, good post players from South Georgia, and I think they're pretty cognizant of not just picking all 5'6" point guards. They do a good job of equaling it out and having some size on both sides. And just looking at it, there's a lot of size on Cristobal Azuma for this North team, Selma Kulo. But then you look at the South side. You got Lydia Freeman, who's 6'4", Zoisha Smith at the line, who's about 6'2". So it tends to even itself out.
And Georgia is a hotbed for outstanding talent, though.
Yes, it is great. Girls and boys basketball, I would say. Top 5 in the nation, both ways. And if you're a college school in the state of Georgia, you have to own your state. You have to do it, especially on the boys' side. We'll probably talk about that a little bit later with how well Georgia State has done recruiting talent. Now they fell to Houston the other day, but if you own your state, a lot of these schools, if you just sit around a 2-hour radius, you can really load up and win a lot of ball games, and you see that from the best programs in the state of Georgia.
Is the high school athlete more prone to stay close by versus go a distance off to play their collegiate ball?
I think everyone's different, really. I know a lot of people have been harping on the Georgias and the Georgia Tech, especially on the boys' side, of why don't we ever get to keep this in-state talent. Anthony Edwards is going to Georgia, and that's a really big deal, a number 1 ranked player in this 2019 class, and we'll see how that goes. But each player is different. Some want to go to the Dukes of the world and already established programs, but the ones I really appreciate are the ones that want to build their own legacy, go to a program that might be middle of the pack or bad, but hey, let me be that first person to put my stamp on this program and build a winning culture. And when they go back and start hanging banners and winning conference championships, they say it all started with player X who decided to take a chance on this school and really build something special.
42-28 contest, South with the advantage. Get the ball back as we get inside 13 to play. And despite a 21-all tie at the half, South has certainly been more prolific scoring-wise in half number 2.
Yeah, North stuck on 28, just stuck on 28 right now. Can't seem to score, and that quickness, getting out in transition, the South team really pushing the ball well.
And the lead grows a bit more. Madison Evans at the stripe, hits the first, and does the same with shot number 2. Speaking of free throws, is that becoming a lost art? You know, you look at the statistics from the stripe, and over the course of 10, 20, 30 years now, those percentages dropping.
Yeah, it's a very important part of the game, but a lot of these players, you know, they're working on their jump shot, they're working on their ball handling. Free throw shooting does get put on the back burner quite often, but it is very important. Games are won and lost at the foul line, especially in the state tournament and just in overall regular season games close down the stretch. You got to be able to knock down your free throws, and it is a skill set that sometimes can be forgotten.
Newsom hits a couple to make it a 44-30 game. So we had a pair of free throws on one end, pair on the other. Smith's got it, steps across the mid part of the floor. You know, we were talking about position players and how many guards, how many forwards. Is that something that plays in the selection process? Wouldn't this too give some players an opportunity to maybe play, for the lack of a better word, out of position, a position maybe they might be good at elsewhere, but because of need, they're playing a different spot on their team?
Yeah, it does give them a chance to show off their versatility and their ability to play at multiple positions, whether it be on offense or defense. On defense, the ability to guard multiple positions is a big boon that a lot of college coaches are looking for. And in a spot like this, when you might have 2 6'3" girls on the floor at the same time, one might have to step out and work more of a high-low game when she's accustomed to just anchoring down on the block. So this is a good chance to show that you can play a little bit on the perimeter, a little bit inside, just be able to play wherever your coach needs you, and it is a good experience for them.
46-30 contest, 12 minutes to play. South pulling out in front by 16, so obviously they have outscored the North by 16 in half number 2, as it was a 21 each contest. That is a long-range 3, and hey, shoot him if you can hit him. Chandler Davis. And Davis right in the same spot where she hit the 3 previously. Those will get the North squad back in the game quickly.
Yeah, trading deep balls, Davis, and then you see Caroline Martin right there. They can shoot the rock, and Chandler Davis, she has not been shy about, you know, putting up the shots, making sure she's staying aggressive, and now they're starting to fall in a nice little 2-man game, sharing the sugar, seeing Caroline Martin getting on the scoreboard. That is her second 3 of the game, and just like that, they're in striking distance, 46-36. You were mentioning it earlier, with all this firepower, you can get back into the game very quickly after you see a couple shots go through.
Yeah, a couple of 3s and 6 just like that in the span of about 15 seconds knocked off of the lead, so it doesn't take long. 11:37 left to play. Brunswick High School, Brunswick, Georgia, the GACA All-Star Classics. I think we could make that plural because there are 4 games that will be played today, this being the first of the 4. And also here at the school, I understand there's track behind us playing. There is a softball doubleheader that will take place sometime today, and I think even a concert this weekend here at the school. So it's busy at Brunswick.
Yeah, it was tough to find a parking spot. It's a lot going on over here.
That's why I always park illegally and hope for the best.
Saw Lacey Robbins getting out there in transition with the layup. She's been a little bit quiet today, but that length on the perimeter, very, very, very attractive for the college coaches. And we see a charge right here. So just when you thought North was about to get back in this game, we ballooned it up to 14 with 2 quick baskets.
So the offensive puts the ball back in the hands of South. Well, part of the North design apparently is to pick up the defense, create some turnovers, get the ball back, and cut into the 14-point lead because that defense is tightened a bit.
Yeah, it's getting to the point of now or never. Don't want to let go of the rope and let this game get out of control, but drives like that, tough to stop. That looked like Taryn Ward.
Ward on the 2 to extend the lead to 16, so that miniature run of back-to-back threes that cut the lead by 6. The South able to rebuild the advantage, and we are at 16 once more. Over it goes to Davis. Already has a 3 to her credit. Tipped out of bounds, and Freeman did it.
Picking up full court here, trying to speed up South, but the South has really thrived in this up and down tempo. They've gotten good looks at the basket, but a steal right here from Martin. Ooh.
It is a 3-on-2 break, a blocking foul.
A lot of contact there. A body block, a good idea from Trinity Jones, just not able to execute it. And it looks like Martin will be back at the foul line, or we're going to take it out of bounds.
Well, Martin was headed to the stripe in hopes he would be shooting, but instead it'll be brought in from the baseline. That is Martin, an air ball on the 3, but it stays on the north end of the floor. Cedric King is the head coach for this North squad. Sug Parker is in charge for the South. Your assistants, Sharnisa Smith, Glenn Academy, and Lamar Harris from Dutchtown. That's for the North team, and the South has Cassandra Hamilton of Dodge County, Earl Brown from Fitzgerald. All right, what about the coaching? How are they selected?
Oh, boy, another great question. Another great question. I'm not sure exactly how they're selected, but I know the GACA has to go through a rigorous process of finding who they want to coach these teams. I don't know if they have to win a region championship or something like that, but we got some great coaches here. We've been talking about the players, but we have some of the best coaches in the state of Georgia here today, and it's a great experience for them as well to be able to showcase their ability, getting all these girls and boys in the next games to really play as one. When you only have one day with them, you might not even know everybody by their first name. I'm sure they do by now, but you only got really one day with these girls and boys, and to be able to get all these players to play as one, great testament to what these coaches can do.
Hey, speaking of testament, we want to testify to the fact that Georgia Army National Guard is a contributor to coverage, and we appreciate so much the fact that they have helped to make not only this event, but the fact that you can watch this event a possibility. Oh. It is blocked.
Great block at Lacey Robbins, just showing that length on the perimeter we were talking about.
North able to keep it, though. Into the corner it goes. Martin from out front. And she pops the 3.
Third 3 ball of the game. She's starting to let it fly. She's up to 9 points, and still need to get some stops on defense. And they get one here.
And the ball back on a 3-on-2 break. So the North with the numbers, not able to get it dropped, though. Nice feed underneath and an easy 2. And it looks like we've got a slightly injured. Let's hope it is very slight.
Yeah, it's Azuma. Kind of landed awkwardly on that layup attempt going coast to coast. We'll see how she's doing. Hopefully she's okay.
Well, then apparently she is going to get a little assistance coming to the sidelines.
Might have tweaked an ankle, maybe a knee, but hopefully it's not too bad. They're going to be able to carry her off. High school head coach Tim Slater springs into duty to go check on one of his star players.
Well, obviously we are hoping for the best where that young lady is concerned. You don't want injuries, period, but you don't want them during the off. Well, I guess if you're going to have an injury, you want it in the off season, but there's concern, period. Especially those knees. Knees are areas where there's so much vulnerability, and they're looking right now at the right knee.
Yeah, and I mean nowadays there's really no off season. I'm sure she's got some AAU travel ball events, and you got live period and everything coming up pretty soon where she's going to have a bunch of coaches in the gym to watch her specifically play. So hopefully this is just a little speed bump, and she'll be back in action in no time.
And these days, with everybody playing so often, as you mentioned, no off season, you've almost got to do that to keep up talent-wise, but it would at least seemingly provide some wear and tear on the body.
Exactly. Yeah, you gotta take a week off here and there every once in a while. Just talking to a player last year, you hit the doldrums of the summer and those legs are just dead, and you're playing, and you might not be playing to the best of your ability, and then you go back and look at your calendar and you played basketball every single day for the past 3 or 4 months. Sometimes you do have to get off your feet, relax, rest, recuperate, and then be able to finish strong, especially during these live period events. It
is a year-round thing, though. I mean, and there's basketball seemingly somewhere in the country at just about any point of the year.
Yeah, it's always going, and there's always that fear that if I'm not working, someone else is working just as hard, if not harder than me, especially if I'm taking some time off. So even if you're not playing games, I mean, you don't have to play games every single day, but if you just want to do some single skill development or weight room stuff to keep your body fresh, it's a good opportunity to do so.
From the elbow.
Looks like Abby Oates getting on the scoreboard for the first time. A rare non-GHSA performer out here, showing a little bit of what she can do.
8:28 left to play in this one. First of 4. Senior ladies next, and then you got the junior guys and the senior guys. And again, thanks so much to the folks that are making coverage possible. We mentioned Army National Guard, the Atlanta Falcons Sports Turf, National Preps, Greenville Turf and Track. You've got Wilson, you've got Charleston's Athletic Field Supply, Coke Crossover, and, of course, the GACA, Georgia Athletic Coaches Association. And you can go to the website to get all kinds of information on GACA. GACAcoaches.com. GACAcoaches.com. Almost taken away, but able to get it back. Smith was the intended target underneath. Out ahead of the pack. Laid in for an easy 2.
Savannah Samuel capitalizing in transition. Great pass from Macy Carter.
Couldn't get it to bank off the glass. And a foul on the far sidelines. Got a game slated for a 1 o'clock start. Looks like that game likely gets underway on time. Over to Smith, off the glass, missed the short-range shot, lying on her back, but able to get the rebound was Walters.
Yeah, she does a little thing. She had a big second half to win that state championship for Buford, finished with 16 points. She's a clutch player that does the little things, and a Jean Durden special.
Buford, is that used to be small community, may have grown near Athens.
Oh, yeah, it's uh-oh, we got another player down near that Gwinnett and Hall County line. So it's a nice big city school with a winning tradition. Always difficult to play Buford in any single sport because it is paramount to win there, and they have a great community, as Coach Durden spoke on. That's a big-time place.
Of course, I say used to be. I keep forgetting I'm so old that, that may have been 40 or 50 years ago.
The tectonic plates have shifted.
Yes.
Everything's different now.
Underneath to Smith. Smith with a miss, winds up on the hardwood.
I'm seeing a lot of bodies hitting the ground hard now.
Ladies are tough, by the way. I say this during our coverage of ladies and men's sports, that as far as tough, ladies will stretch it out.
Oh, yeah, they're tougher than me, I'm sure. Yeah, they are. It's not like it may have used to been, or, play like a girl. These girls are tough, and it's a compliment to say you play like a girl sometimes.
Kimbrough making it a 58-45 contest, and now the ladies got the feel of things, just bringing it up and down the floor, trying to put points on the board, 60-45. We were stuck at 1 point for about 2 or 3 minutes at 2 each. We are a far cry from that now. Rebounded by Smith.
Oh.
And then stolen away. And then taken right back. That is Rawls taking it to the glass.
She's been aggressive today. She's really gotten to the free throw line, and there's just some players that have that scoring mindset, just that scoring blood in their DNA. They know how to score the basketball, and she's showing off how she can do that. Get into the line, get into the lane. Just a very versatile scorer that is a terror to try and stop in Class 2A.
15-point lead, 6 to play. Got an MVP trophy to hand out at the end of this one. I see on the other sidelines where the trophy table stands, there are 4 stacked on the table, 1 for each game. And 2, I see the banners that recognize the folks that are making it possible that this event take place.
So Alicia Smith, great block there.
Kia Daniels currently on the floor for the North.
Travel on Coriana Evans, who they lost the state championship to Carver after they beat them in the Final Four last year, but she is a big-time player, had about 20 points, 18 rebounds. She's a great player, and there's some colleges that are really hot on her right now, and just her versatility, and about 6 foot, can play that combo forward position and rebound. And once she expands her offensive mindset to be able to shoot those outside jump shots, she's going to get even better. But Evans is a real workhorse down low.
5:29 left to play here in this all-star event. First of 4 juniors now, seniors coming up. That is the lone South All-Star playing on the North team. Kia Daniels from Brunswick playing on the North squad despite her South team status.
Did you see who got that basket there?
I did not see.
Catch that one. Scoring so quickly now.
Off on the 3 ball. Into the corner it goes to Smith, puts it on the floor, into the paint, and then from the stripe. Daniels with a rebound. In and out on the Kimbrough jumper. Well, in the state of Georgia, when was the end of the high school basketball season?
Oh, boy, that was the state championships ran March 6th through the 9th, so we are fairly fresh. A couple of weeks ago, and a lot of great games, a lot of close games. See a couple state champions out here today, and we're going to see some more throughout the day. But, yeah, it just wrapped up not too long ago.
63-47 contest. Can the North overcome the deficit in 4 minutes, 28 seconds?
I don't believe so. I know they got some girls that can score the ball, but I don't think they're going to overcome this deficit.
Put in play to Kulo. Kulo attracting the foul. He's waiting for the defense to go by and put up the shot, but then instead got fouled and heads to the stripe. Gorgeous facility here, by the way, at Brunswick.
Very nice, very nice. First time being down here, and yes, it's can fill up the stadium. A lot of good seats here, a lot of good basketball here. It's a very storied program now. Chris Turner does a great job, especially on the boys' side. They always seem to be in it.
One of my coaching buddies is from Brunswick. I don't know if he played here or not. I actually thought I might see him today, that being James Frey, who's the ladies' coach at South Georgia Tech. but I know he is from the Brunswick area. And figured I might see him here scouting some talent.
There's a lot to choose from.
And a nice crowd on hand watching basketball this morning.
Very true, very true. Yeah. Why else would you, why wouldn't you want to be here? It's nice, about 70 degrees outside. Don't see too many clouds, if any, at all. I know we're in a gym, but it's nice and warm and just a beautiful day to be indoors and watch some basketball. I know we got March Madness going on, but we got some GACA madness as well.
March who?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I was doing the past 2 days, locking myself in my hotel room and watching those games. But, hey, high school basketball, you can't get to March unless you get here first. And this is a stepping stone for a lot of these girls and a lot of these boys.
Don't be surprised if we don't see some of these ladies and men later participating in March Madness.
For sure. We certainly will. I would put some money on that. We are loaded with great talent, and a lot of these players are going to be playing at the next level and at big-time programs.
Well, maybe the North can get back into an 11-point game with 3:17 to play. 3-ball may put it out of reach after all. Toss goes out front, and the steal belonging to the South. It is laid in from the left side. That is Baker, making it a 68-52 game. And this is the way it's been all game long. When it looked as if the North was getting back into the ball game after a big lead for the South, South began to pull away again, and once more they're up by 16. Kulo with a miss down low. Second try, good.
Yeah, she's getting going here. Late, really affecting what South is trying to do with her size on the glass, crashing it if she's not making her first attempt. She's cleaning it up and getting good looks inside.
71-54 game, 2:13 to play, largest South lead of the game. And now I think about 10 ladies walking onto the floor, 5 each for the North and South squads. And two, where this nice crowd is concerned, it's just going to flip probably for the better part of the day. You're going to see people in and out. When you got the senior ladies next and the guy junior and seniors.
Yeah, if you love great basketball in the state of Georgia, this is the place to be, because you're seeing junior, senior, boys, girls, everything you need to know about these upcoming seasons, it starts right here.
To the other side of the paint, feed goes back over to Davis, and Davis stepped on the baseline. I don't think Davis was anticipating the additional pass.
Yeah, a little overpass and trying to be a little too unselfish here. We're going to have to be announcing our Billy Hendricks MVP. I think I have a good idea of who it's going to be. I'm going to have to race down here at the sound of the horn. We got a couple minutes left, but I think it's going to be a local girl. Zoisha Smith has been very impressive from Glenn Academy. 10 points, 10 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 2 blocks. She's been very good today.
Freeman with the 2. And, of course, that happens at the end of the contest. The MVP will keep the coverage here until we've gotten the big trophy handed out. Freeman stepping out to try to defend Davis, but Davis launching the bomb for 3.
Yeah, she's let it rip. A lot of outside shots. That's just her second 3 of the game, but she's really been stretching out the defense, and when she gets locked in, she can get hot.
Brought in from the baseline. North probably can't win this one with 1:14 to play, but trying to make that score look a little less impressive for the South. Second game of our quadruple header coming up at 1 o'clock this afternoon. So we'll close this one out, take about a 20-minute break or so, and get ready for game number 2. 64 seconds remain. Freeman going to the sideline. Smith checking back in for the South. Just trying to balance out what everybody gets on the floor during the course of 40 minutes of basketball. 2 20-minute halves. A little variation from what we typically do. And now less than a minute to play. Into the corner, Walters brings it baseline, trying to hand it back out front, instead tipped out of bounds. The GACA North-South All-Star Basketball Classic. It's been sponsored by Georgia Army National Guard, the Atlanta Falcons Sports Turf, National Preps, Greenville Turf and Tractor, Wilson, Charleston's Athletic Field Supply, Crossover Coke, and the Georgia Athletic Coaches Association. 3 ball misses. Smith's got it. Saved in the corner. Back over to Smith. Lays it in from the left side.
Smith has been mightily impressive and very well deserving of this MVP award.
Well, another thing we will not get at an All-Star game, we might get elsewhere, is the team on top running the stall to run time off the clock.
No. I think they're going to play to the final buzzer.
Get as much out of this one as possible.
Fouls on the South's number 3, her first team night.
Smith grabbing the rebound. Lost it, got it back. Well, and I guess the other thing that we probably won't see here is the team behind fouling trying to get the ball back.
No, I don't think so either.
A little different look to an all-star event. High off the glass, no good. And this one is over. It goes final, 78-59. The South knocking off the North. This GACA All-Star event. We've got one more order of business, though, before wrapping it up, and that is to hand out a trophy.
Well, I'm about to run down there. You'll get to see my my great physique down there, so be nice to me. I'll be back.
We will do. Thanks so much to Kyle Sandy heading down to the sidelines. We've got the MVP to hand out. Boy, what a tough decision this is when you got you've got the best players in the state of Georgia participating in this one. And to narrow it down to one, that's tough. Well, I guess we can kind of take about 12 players out because you use the winning team. And there is your MVP, Zoisha Smith. Just a junior, but she's got collegiate coaches drooling. What a sensational game, year, and career ahead of Zoisha Smith. 78-59 your final scores. This one is over. Thanks so much for watching our coverage. Game 2 of our quadruple header coming up. It's when the senior ladies will take to the hardwood. That's about 28 minutes from now. See you then. For Kyle Sandy, Robert Williamson, so long for all of us at JockJive Sports.